A research study mentioned by firstpagesage.com said that over 68% of users click on the top 3 search results in Google, meaning that if your business isn't ranking in the top 3 search results, you're missing out on 70% of your potential customers and possibly thousands of dollars in revenue. And with this recent buzz going around with AI search and these AI search tools looking at trustworthy sources, like people clicking on a website, ranking at the top of Google is more important than ever. Hello, my name is Terry from Local SEO Tactics. My dad's local SEO company, Intrycks, has generated millions of dollars for individual clients through the power of organic SEO. And in this video, I'm going to show you an 8-step process that you can follow to rank your business locally on Google and of course, generate more revenue. Also in this video, I try to compile all these tips down just into one general thing for ranking near the top of Google and also the map pack. I first want to start off by talking about the direction Google is going towards with ranking, especially in this world of all these AI search tools. So basically, Google's goal is to try to serve the end user with the most relevant and trustworthy businesses. And part of how they do that is with this principle called EAT, which stands for expertise, experience, authoritiveness, and trustworthiness. When Google crawls your website and is later indexing them, they're looking for patterns that suggest that your business is really good at that principle. Now, to give you an example of what this EAT principle looks like, let's say that someone is searching for a pediatrician on Google, and Google is deciding between 2 websites to go and show that user. The first website is this website that cites out a credible source, the Mayo Clinic, in their copy, and has a link that is leading to their website from a credible source, the Pediatric Certification Organization. The second business barely links out to any credible sources and has no links from credible sources leading to that website. Google is obviously going to go choose the first website because they have a lot more signs of trustworthiness going on for them. Now, the scenario I gave there is probably for a more extreme end of that EAT principle, but it does help show what Google is all about with serving the end user in this principle that you're going to be following with all these local SEO tips you're going to hear in this video. Now that you know Google runs on relevancy and trust, it's time to get into step number 2, creating your Google business profile. You can create your own Google business profile by going to your Google account, clicking the dots in the corner, then clicking this little store icon, and then start now. From there, it'll ask for your business name as well as a primary category for your business. It is really important that when you type in a primary category that you choose the right one. What you can do to figure out the right primary category for your business is to download this Chrome extension called GMB Everywhere. And from there, you would go onto a new tab, search up where your target customer is likely searching when trying to find your business, and then Google will tell you in the map section what the primary category of those businesses are. And that primary category is what the primary category for your business should be. As for your business name, one thing we did notice, if you haven't named your business yet, is that Google typically ranks higher businesses that include the primary service they offer, as well as the primary location they're based out of in their business name. So for example, Cannon Falls Plumbing. But if you do decide to go down this route, just make sure that this name is actually your legal business name, because if Google finds out, you could potentially be in some hot water on that trust principle I mentioned earlier. When continuing to fill out your Google business profile, make sure that you fill it out completely. In your descriptions, make sure they include keywords that suggest who you are, what you do, and where you're located out of. Also, make sure that you include all these services that you offer, as well as all the locations that you serve. Once you have your Google business profile set up and ready to go, one thing that we have noticed that's a recurring thing you can do to help Google build trust with your business is to post once a week to that Google business profile. It's one of those little things that's just another sign of Google that your business is active and you're trying to focus on quality. During this process of trying to figure out how to rank locally on Google, you might have ran into a problem where you're trying to rank for somewhere that's still in your service area, but your physical location is actually kind of far away from there. The other day, we had a local painter come to us and he was trying to rank for a location that was 25 minutes away from where his business was actually located. This is a completely normal problem that a lot of our clients have, and it kind of leads me into step number 3, which is managing your locations. Now, there's really 2 ways that you can go around doing this. The first one is to actually add another location to your Google business profile. This can be anything from a remote office, a co-working space, or even a friend's house. As long as someone is typically there during business hours, it is fine by Google to have another location there. But what if this is not an option? Well, one other thing you can do is you can actually create a website for that area that includes the primary service that you offer, as well as the city that you're trying to rank for. If you do decide to go down this route, make sure that in the H1 tag for that website, you include the primary service that you offer, as well as the city that you're trying to serve. It is also important to note that if you do decide to go down this route, you likely may not rank near the top for that pack, but for regular Google search results, you still have a very strong chance of ranking and getting customers that way. And speaking of websites, what are some things that you can do to rank your website or landing page higher on Google? Now, there's actually quite a lot of things you can do here, so bear with me. But a few of the main things are: one, you want to make sure that you're including the right keywords. Google has a lot of money to spend on machine learning when it makes them money. However, what they don't have is a lot of money to spend on machine learning trying to figure out what your website is about. Meaning you have to go through the work of making sure they have the right keywords to tell Google what your website is about. In your H1 tag, which is the headline at the top of your website, make sure they include the primary service that you offer, as well as the location that you are servicing. For example, let's say that you're a phone repair company and you're trying to rank for Colorado Springs, Colorado. You'd make sure that in your H1 tag that you have something like phone repair, Colorado Springs. For your H2 tags or secondary headings, typically you want to include the services that you offer. So going back to our phone repair company example, you might include screen repair or back glass repair or repair. And that helps tell Google what the services you offer are. And then for the rest of the copy on your website, it does help to occasionally include keywords that suggest to Google what your business is about. Another thing that we notice helps is to link to other pages on your website. Typically, you want to structure your page as having your main homepage, then your main category pages with a list of the services you offer, and then finally specific pages about those services that you offer. Google also does look on how long people stay on your page, so if you have like a bunch of AI slop, or just really bad content, or doesn't answer people's questions and people leave, that is another warning sign to Google that you're not a trustworthy business, or that it's maybe not worth ranking your business higher if it doesn't serve the end user. If you do want to check on how long people are staying on your page, Google does have something called Google Analytics 4, and there's other tools out there too, like Hotjar, that you can use to see how long people are staying on your pages and where they are going. There's a bunch of other little things that you can do too to increase your chances of ranking locally on Google, but for the sake of time and not keeping this video too long, I'm going to go list them off here. The first thing is to make sure that you have your business's name, phone number, and address on your pages, have consistency of your business's information across the site, embed a Google map on your services page, have links leading out to trustworthy sources and links from trustworthy sources if at all possible, and include image alt text and have trustworthy images. That concludes step 4, and now it's time to move on to step 5. Next, I want to talk about the photos on your website in Google Business Profile Listing. A common mistake a lot of people make is to go and use AI-generated photos on their website in Google Business Profile. Now, personally, as a fan of AI, I really like doing stuff like this, but unfortunately, I found out that Google does not like this apparently. Now, people have found ways to get around this by editing the metadata to suggest that it's not AI generated, but I would suggest playing on the side of caution and trying to use real photos if at all possible. And speaking of photos, one thing that we did notice to help is have geotagging data that aligns with the service you offer, as well as the location that you're at. You can use this tool called geoimager.com to upload a photo and edit the geotagging data to align with what I just mentioned earlier. It's just another one of those minor factors that you can use to set yourself apart from the competition and rank higher on Google. And speaking of competition, let's beat the competition by having more authority than them. Earlier in this video, you probably heard me mention Google's EAT principle, the experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness that Google looks at when deciding to rank your website. This section is basically all about that. While not everything of this principle is completely in your control, especially when you're competing with a big corporate brand, there are some things that you can do to increase your chances of following along with this principle. And one of the ways you can do that is with links, apparently. Like I mentioned earlier, when a trustworthy authority like a news site, chamber of commerce, volunteer organization, or certification host like the Bar Association, links out to your website, that's a huge sign from Google that your business is a trustworthy authority, and it will help you rank a lot higher. The same principle can also be applied to when your website links out to other trusted sources. For example, a phone repair company linking out to Apple, or a painting company linking out to a big paint brand. Now, the power of linking out to other websites and having other websites linking out to you can be a very powerful thing for Google establishing trust with your brand. It is important to check these links every so often because sometimes web pages can get broken or lead to a 404 error. And when you have quite a few of those, Google doesn't look at that too kindly, and it kind of lowers your trust score in the opposite direction. Another way Google looks at authority too is social media. And I barely see this talked about by any other SEO companies. Like I said earlier, Google likes to see humans interacting with your brand. And social media is one of the best ways to do that in this modern day world. If you have fresh content and evidence of followers engaging with your content, that's another huge sign to Google that your brand is an authority into something. And then we get into step number 7, and step number 7 is my favorite because not only does it help you rank better, but it also helps you get more higher end customers. And that is the power of Google reviews. I can't stress enough on how important it is to get Google reviews for your business. Because once a competitor is getting reviews for their business at a really good pace and they're quite a bit ahead of you, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to catch up to them. And this stuff matters too because you look at platforms like Amazon, right? And people buying Amazon products that have a lot of 4 and 5-star reviews. The same thing kind of applies when Google's looking at which businesses to rank higher. I remember back when I was working at a phone repair shop, we were trying to get reviews, and one of the ways that we did it was when we fixed a customer's phone and the phone was done, we would offer them a free screen protector to anyone who left a review. By offering that incentive of a free screen protector, it was something that got the customer to leave a review at a pretty low cost to us, and therefore it helped us get more business because we had a lot of trust and authority with our brand. Now, unfortunately, the work does not stop after a customer has left a review, because another little thing that we noticed to help with rankings is actually replying to your customers after they left a review. If you do this for quite a few of your customers, it's another sign to Google that your brand is focusing on customer value and therefore is building trust in Google's mind. And then for this final step, I thought I should come back to you at a different location and with kind of a beard this time to talk about the final step, which is occasionally checking your rankings and keeping up to date with all the changes on local SEO. As a local business owner, you're probably busy keeping up with the day-to-day of your local business, and keeping track of this local SEO stuff in your rankings is probably pretty difficult for you time-wise. And believe me, my dad has been there too as a local business owner himself. But once you kind of have everything set up and you're starting to rank, what you can do is you can use this tool called Local Dominator or a similar tool to check and see where your website ranks for different keywords in different locations. Sorry to interrupt this video, but while I was editing this, we actually released a software of our own for tracking rankings. So our software Rankmap is different than the other softwares out there in that it can go track up to the 100th position for these different keywords and locations. Most rank tracking softwares out there can really only go up to the 10th or 20th position, which is fine if you have websites that are ranking really high. But a lot of times, if let's say you hire an SEO agency, your SEO rankings are gonna start kind of near like the 100th position, if not more. And with the software, you can tell early on if you're actually making progress with your rankings, which comes in really handy when you're trying to experiment or an agency is experimenting to know if they're making the right decisions. So how you'd set this up is you would click add a new website, and then you click new website, and you'd add the name of the website as well as the URL of the business that you want to see. Now, of course, you don't have to use your own business. You can use a competitor's business as well if you're curious. But once you have your website added, you'll be greeted with this screen where you can add the different locations. So for example, I'm doing a company that's in Austin, Texas. So I'm gonna add Austin as a city. I might add like another deal too, like Westlake Hills. And with your locations added, you can click the back arrow. We can go click on our new location that we just added. And then you would add your different keywords. So let's say I want to see the ranking for roof repair, as well as these other keywords. I can add them. And then when I want to see the ranking of one of them, I can just click on the keyword right here, and I can click new snapshot. And what this is going to do is it's going to go load this keyword, and it's going to show where it ranks for different locations. So as you can see, this keyword overall ranks for the 6th to 7th position, and you can see where it's ranking in different areas. And then you just repeat this process for the other keywords as well. So the real long-term work is you come back after a week or so or every other week, and you go back to your websites, you go back to your business's website, and you just repeat this process of clicking a new snapshot and checking where it ranks. And overall, you can see week by week if you're actually ranking higher or if you're ranking lower and where it is that your rankings are maybe not as great. But anyways, that concludes an overview of the Rankmap software. If you're interested, I will leave a link down below. As for keeping up with local SEO, especially in this age of AI, my best recommendation is to keep up to date with once a month on what's going on with all this local SEO stuff. On this YouTube channel right here, we typically review someone at least once a month who is an expert in local SEO, like another agency owner, a director who has experience with local SEO, or potentially someone who is really good at a new trend in local SEO, like AI search. Our goal as an agency is to provide as much value as we can and also keep up to date with what's going on in the local SEO world. But that's it. That's an overview of every basic thing you need to know about local SEO. And I hope this video helped provide more value than most other videos out there on the internet for generating revenue for your business. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.